All right, Mike and Jeff here with that'sgoodenough.me.com. We're doing our Who's Zoomin' Who series. We are with Erik and Mathias Färm from Millencolin. How are you guys doing?
Super good.
Doing great. It's Saturday afternoon in Sweden.
And you just want to drink beer, right?
I'm going to start drinking beer pretty soon. too early right now. How about you?
Yeah.
Party.
Yeah, I'm going for the party.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
I'm just making alone at home.
That reminds me. I forgot. I have a tea steeping. I'll be right back.
Oh, there you go. Oh. Yeah. Come back. So in America, COVID is still thriving. So I did some like curbside acoustic beer delivery shows in my town last night to raise money for our local music venues. And then I went to sleep and got a couple hours of sleep, and now I'm here interviewing you guys. So I'm in okay shape.
Good.
That's good.
There you go. So first question, I just kind of wanted to talk about, as I just mentioned, COVID is being handled very differently in different parts of the world. I just wanted to kind of see what you guys are up to during COVID and quarantines. And I think Sweden's probably done a little bit of a better job. But what have you guys been up to lately?
Yeah, have you followed the Swedish way of handling the situation from the beginning? Have you heard about that?
A bit, yeah.
Yeah, because we did it a little bit differently. We never used masks here, and what else, Mathias?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really have any strict quarantine or regulations at all. And I guess Swedes are good at obey the rules. So I guess and people here, they follow the news and everyone knows what to do. So I think people, dealt with it in a really good way. And I guess now we don't have that much COVID going on, actually.
No, the virus seemed to, like, the curve has really flattened, and it's just like an outbreak here and there in some cities. They call it a cluster infection or something, right? So it just pops up every here and there. But there are very few casualties these days. We had a lot in the beginning because in Sweden, all the elderly facilities, they got hurt a bit. So it really old people, very old people died from COVID, but they might have died from the regular flu as well. They were really sick old people. They died a lot in the beginning. But if you count the numbers now, we don't have that many casualties actually compared to the rest of the world.
Yeah, it's in the United States. It was kind of the same situation. We're somewhere at, I think, around 170, 180,000 deaths now. But when you look at it, a third of those, 60,000, were just in nursing homes and care facilities like that. So
yeah, it's horrible. But the virus they take out the people who are really sick. Of course, they can't handle the disease.
All right. Moving towards music, then.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I want to have a discussion with you guys. I think, and I've always talked about this, bands that have a frontman and a bass player. In the same regard, allows two guitar players, especially in a melodic punk band, to really go the distance. And that's what's always made me favor Millencolin, was the fact that you're able to hear octave guitars, textured rhythms and leads, and you guys can do whatever the fuck you want because you don't have to try to sing while you're doing it. So I just kind of wanted you guys to elaborate on that a little bit. Erik, I'll start with you.
Yeah, when we started the band, we were a three-piece actually. So Mathias was playing drums, and Nicola.
That was
I was the only guitar player.
That was right?
But then when we played live, we couldn't do the harmonies, which we had on the recording. So this was just the first demo tape, and then we got this guy called Larson to play drums, and Mathias took the guitar as well.
Larson is still considered the new guy.
Yeah,
but he's been in the band since '93. But he will always be the new guy.
He missed out on '92 though.
Yeah, just like Jason Newsted was the new guy in Metallica, I guess.
Yeah.
Lars, new guy in Millencolin.
No, I love it. That's great. Yeah, and I was going to bring that up too. Mathias, you played drums for a year in the band.
Actually, to be honest, it was like 3 months, 4 months.
Yeah.
So I guess that might answer my question. Is this still an active hobby of yours?
Actually, I just bought. Yeah. No, I mean, I bought drums for my kid the other day. Electronic drums, like digital, like a Elise D6 or something. And I've been playing for every day since then. So we might kick Larson out now and become a 3-piece again.
And it's good for when we tour as well. You just bring your little digital kit.
Yeah, it looks cool, right?
The big stuff.
I like how that story starts with, I bought this digital drum kit for my kid, and I'm playing it every day.
Exactly.
In their corner.
You haven't
the very first Zoom was with the band Pairs, the Fat Wreck band. And during quarantines, every single member of that band was set out to learn how to play drums. And there was a lot of electronic drums involved in that, so I think that ties together really nicely. Mathias, do you have anything to elaborate on in regards to my guitar question?
No, well, I guess, yeah, I mean, being a 3-piece band with one guitar was not an option for us. And since I wrote a lot of songs, I wanted to play guitar. But I also wanted to be a drummer, I guess. But I guess we when we started recording, it was important for us to be, I don't remember if I was a left speaker or right speaker.
I'm stage left, so I'm the right speaker, and you are in the left speaker.
Yeah, exactly. But we don't do that anymore. But I guess we did that from the start. So, but
we did that for a few albums.
Yeah, for like maybe 3 albums.
More.
That's an intense detail, though, because I admire like the hard panning on songs like A10.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun to listen to, especially now in a world where I'm working from home, parenting at the same time, and I have one earbud in. It depends on what earbud I put in as to what side of a Millencolin song I'm going to hear and which guitar player I'm going to hear. I'm happy that was at least.
Which ear did you use? Your left.
It's whichever one is has a battery charge. Really, so one of them is in my ear all day. That was something that, growing up and listening to punk music in the 90s, that was something that I brought to all my friends' attention, and immediately was, given the answer like, "That's stupid. I don't care that one guitar is in one ear." And it was awesome. So I don't know. I'm happy that that's a thing. And now I guess that's going to change the way I think about it if you guys did it intentionally as often as you're mentioning that.
Yeah, I guess we heard it on some NoFX album and we did the same. Because they had really pan guitars too. So I guess that's the way to record it.
It's a good way to engineer, I think. I don't know anything, but
I don't do it. I don't do it when I mix stuff nowadays. I don't do it like that. I never. I mean, maybe on the verse you can have 2 guitars like this, but I mean, it's always more now.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Now you
get back then. Back then we only had 16 tracks to record on, so it was really hard to get them. To get the space to have more guitars too,
Yeah, that's cool. No, and I'm a fan. I watched the Penny Bridge documentary that you guys did, and that was, candy for me as a musician and as a Millencolin fan, as a big dork. So that gave me a lot of insight on a record that I listened to for a long time and some formative, guitar playing years for me. So my next question goes to you, Erik. And that's why I asked you previously when we were messaging about your graphic designing and videography, especially right now, while do-it-yourself is all you have. I mean, we're on a Zoom meeting doing an interview here. I kind of just wanted to go over your graphic design, the Millencolin brand, the Millencolin logo, and the artwork for the albums. And how much input, obviously you had a giant amount of input in it, but how much did the other band members come in and step in and help you make some of the covers for the albums and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing the graphics and logos and everything for Millencolin since like the first demo tape, since that's what I'm doing on the side of the band as well. I don't know. It depends. It depends a little bit on like what the title of the album will be. You know, if I get a good idea or something. Sometimes I talk a lot to Mathias, and we kind of brainstorm sometimes when I'm stuck and stuff. But like the last album, the SOS, I really struggled a lot by what to put on there. But then all of a sudden I just did something, and boom, I just got that. I just saw the whole idea of the hurt Millencolin bird watching down on the world today. And I also like pictured, I need to animate a video as well for this. So it's like that idea just struck me like that. And those are definitely the best ideas when you get something like that, because then you have a vision and then you just draw it.
Yeah, and to reintroduce the animated bird in that music video to me was awesome as a fan to see that after so many years.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm not that good in After Effects and animations and stuff. So that was like a really kind of hard for me to do that. But lots of fun to get into animation and stuff and be able to do it here in this office.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was for Monkeys and then Penny Bridge, and then when Home from Home came out, that's when I realized as a kid, I was like, oh, this is all being done by some like lone person. I could see the branding. I could see the style. And so, yeah, I think that's really cool. And I applaud you guys for doing that yourselves and not relying on somebody else. I'm not.
No, but we grew up with, we grew up with the punk rock scene in Sweden, and I had a fan scene that just released one issue. But anyways, you sent mailed demo tapes to each other and everything, and we booked our own shows and stuff in the beginning. So it's just natural for us that we have been doing this up to this level, and it's really important for us to have that control. And since we know how everything should look and how everything should sound, I mean, it's really important for us to make everything on our own. We couldn't work in any other way.
What I really like about it is I think that consistency has in a way helped with the Millencolin brand. I mean, when you see artwork, sometimes even without the logo, you kind of know that it's going to be a Millencolin product, just because your artwork is so your style, and it's something as a graphic artist myself, I've been following since I first heard of the band, like 95, 96. And so it's really fun to see each new iteration of what you do and what you create for the band, and music videos, just artwork, posters, etc. So I think it's a really cool thing. And it's cool that like you get to keep doing it even as the band has become bigger and bigger. And,
thanks a lot. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the funniest part about being in the band, to do that. Like, having control over our brand, or what to call it. I think that's my life in a way. I love it.
Hell yeah. Now, Mathias, between Millencolin Connection and Penny Bridge, are the other members of the band happy with Erik's portrayal of you in an animated form?
I think so. It's a hard thing to do, but I'm very satisfied with the outcome.
Now, I've never taken the two albums and set them side by side because I live in a world where I don't imagine that my punk idols have aged a wink.
We don't age, no.
Perfect answer. All right. I wanted to talk about the progression of your album production, and not to step back too far. But to go from Four Monkeys to Home from Home, from Monkeys to Penny Bridge to Home from Home, there seemed to be kind of a general progression of a super polished, melodic pop punk sound. Kingwood sticks out to me, and it did the day that it was released. and it still does to this day. I really enjoy the album. I like the raw mix, and I just kind of wanted to go over that album a little bit and talk to you about it. I've always been curious about the raw elements of it. Was it intentional? Did you go to a completely different studio or use a different engineer?
Yeah, we used a guy called Chips Keesby. He's the lead singer of a band called Sator. What do you say? What do you say in English? Yeah,
we were actually supposed to work with Mark Trombino on Home from Home, and also, but it didn't work out. And on Kingwood, we also wanted to do that, but he couldn't do it. So I guess Chips was an interesting guy because he's done a lot of rock stuff in Sweden, like the Helicopters and stuff like that. So I guess we wanted to go that path a little. So and we wanted to mix it actually in Berlin with what is he called? The guy who did Machine 15.
I know. I'm thinking
Michael Ilbert. He's called Michael Ilbert. He's a really good mixer, but he couldn't do it. So we worked. It's mixed in Gothenburg, actually, Kingwood, with some other dude. I don't remember the name of. but it was Chips's idea. He said this guy should do it, and I think the sound is interesting on that album. It's you know, it's a bit different. I think it sounds good.
And he's like. He's a rock guy. He wanted us to really just perform everybody together.
Record live, in a way.
Okay. Yeah, he wanted to record everything live. So he wanted to capture that. We ended up with not recording everybody at the same time because it was just like annoying for everybody. But still, he wanted that live feel to the production.
But it was just so fucking boring to do it that way, so we just didn't do it.
Exactly.
You know, it was hell.
When the bridge of "Shut You Out" goes back into the final choruses, did you intentionally count to 12?
Yeah,
because I always found that really weird and super interesting. Fantastic. Okay, between that and the outro to "Hard Times," I think that's probably the most significant moment on the record where you can tell that the producer wanted you guys to be a rock and roll band, you know, as it generates chaos at the end. But big fan of the record. It still sticks out like a sore thumb, I think, in a really good way. So,
but it's weird when you look into the producers we've been working with. They're all been super good producers, but I always do like a really, really serious recording of demos before we record the album. And if you take every song we recorded with a producer and compare them to what we enters the studio with, it's almost the same thing. Yeah. You know, it's very, very rarely. I guess when we worked with Dan on the first 3 recordings, he was probably the guy who's been contributing the most as producer on our
in like changing stuff in
I mean, making our better, you know.
Yeah.
Making the songs better.
And I remember Bad Religion. What the fuck is his name? Jeff, I'm such a poser.
Mr. Brett.
Mr. Brett?
Yeah. On the documentary, Mr. Brett made a significant change on a guitar solo on Penny Bridge that was unexpected. And I don't think you guys were super stoked about it on the footage. I can't remember what song.
You're talking about his solo?
Yeah.
The solo he plays?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he put it in a very strange part of the song, didn't he?
Maybe. Yeah. He did a solo, but I mean, he did really cool stuff on the recording. I mean, it was...
Absolutely. But he was like, let me try to play a solo here. And he did that, and we were just a little bit shocked because that was not the idea from the beginning. But,
I think that's how Nikolai worded it. Was like, I didn't know that the solo belonged there.
It was just like it messed up our idea of the song. We're really proud of having him perform a solo there. But it's definitely not my type of solo. So it was kind of hard when we did the Penny Bridge Pioneers anniversary tour. It was the first time I picked that solo up and did something similar. But it's like, okay, this is the Brett solo. You got the Brett solo. It's just like this, because it's like a first or second take.
It's on Highway Donkey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it was.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just, I mean, we never played that song live ever till we did that 10 year anniversary.
No, and sometimes some post-production can result in a song becoming playable live. So I understand that.
When we record an album, we end up with performing maybe 5 songs from that album live. The other ones, you forget about those.
Yeah. When you've been doing it as long as you guys have been doing it, I don't even know how you would introduce a new record that would, dip into your catalog enough to take over a set list. So I understand that. But my next question, I interviewed Ludwig Gurr, who did the new Tony Hawk Pro Skater documentary, and he lives in Sweden and found out who Millencolin was by playing the game and not like looking out his window, which I found to be really great, because I was a fan of your band before you were on the soundtrack to that of those games. So I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit.
He didn't know about us, the Swedish guy.
Yeah,
apparently
he's I don't know how old he is. He's a bit younger, but yeah, he told me. He said, I said, well, what bands from Tony Hawk Pro Skater did you discover by the game? And he said Bracket, who is a band we interviewed. And then he said, yeah, Millencolin. And come to find out they're in my own fucking backyard. And I just wasn't paying attention.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of wanted to just talk about Tony Hawk Pro Skater. I also kind of wanted to just talk about, I know that the majority of you guys are skaters or have skating influences. Are you still skating? Is this still an influence in your life?
Of course it is, but it's, I guess you don't skate the way you used to do, because it's not good for me to do that. But occasionally I skateboard. Of course, I would probably always do that. It's a really huge part of my life.
Yeah, Mathias and I shot a little Instagram video of us skating in our park, in our concrete park. Was this 3 years ago or something like that?
Maybe. Yeah.
But then, we kind of like, this might be the last video part we ever shoot, because it's so risky. You fall so much worse these days when you don't constantly are skating. You forget how to fall. You always remember in the back of your head how to perform the tricks, but something happened to your body that you feel like a refrigerator or something when you fall. Boom! Before, earlier you could roll like a cat or something. That. It was you did that automatically. But these days you tend to fall so fucking hard.
That's a good answer
for the guitar fingers.
Yeah, and those are very important for both of you to have, I think. Now, as a man that admires skating, that has 3 left feet, I wanted to talk about Millencolin. The band name came from skating trick, from what I've read. Can you describe the trick in a way that people that have never skated can understand?
You just stand there. You do like this.
There you go. There you
go. Imagine a board.
What are you doing?
That's how it looks, right?
It's an office chair, Millencolin.
That didn't make sense at all, man. I don't understand.
It didn't make sense.
One more time, please.
I think
it looks like you were giving birth or something.
Exactly.
Grab, and you push it forward.
It's like ollie grab thing.
Yeah, you're leaning back, you're grabbing the back of the board, and your legs are like this.
You push your feet.
Okay.
Yeah, so you go.
So that's called sad air.
Sad air.
Which is another word for melancholy. But when we came up with the idea of... there were some friends of ours who went to the States and skated. Now we're back in... This was way before Millencolin. And they came back to the park and they said, like, in the States, you don't call sadder. You call it Millencolin.
A melancholy, or what the fuck was it?
Yeah, something like that. But they definitely didn't say melancholy. So they misheard the word in the States. So our name is actually from their misperception of the word melancholy.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
No, I love that. That's great. Digging back
which
then,
was good too, because at the time in Australia there were a band called Millencolin. So good.
Your name's better.
Yeah.
It's kind of a strange name actually, because it's nothing. It's just a name.
I knew it was based on the skateboard trick. I didn't know the meaning behind the mispronunciation. I thought you just kind of switched it around for the fun of it. Turns out your friend just misheard the word.
Yeah, or our friends did. I think when we came up with that we wanted a skateboard trick as the name for our band. So it's like Nosebone. We talked about that and a few other tricks. And
no
then
comply.
Said, hey, what about that thing they called Sadar when they got back from the States? Millencolin, right? And he like wrote it down how to spell it on a piece of paper. It's like, yeah, okay, let's go with that name.
Hey, make sure to check out Epitaph's brand new band, Nosebone.
Exactly.
It's such a bad name.
So not to dig too much into the origins of the band or the earlier sound, I'm not going to ask you guys why you don't play ska music anymore, but I just wanted to know if people still approach you and ask you why you don't play ska anymore.
I guess there are tons of people who want us to play those old songs, I guess. But for me personally, I just when we did Penbush Pioneers, I just felt that we're over it.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
He has never been a fan of ska.
No, not really. I mean, it was such a stereotype way, the way we played it. It was just like every other funny band did. So, and it never felt as good as when the real ska band played their ska. And we're much better on writing, minor, key punk rock songs. So that's what we do the best.
Yeah, but it's actually fun to play those songs live once we do it. We played Castle's Friend. We played that song maybe on our last tour, right?
No, sometime, but it's not that much ska in that, so I'm fine with that. It's a sad ska song. It's not happening.
Well, I look forward to a new Millencolin release, and I'm expecting to hear rock. I don't know how I would react if a song on SOS suddenly dipped into some happy ska chords.
So it doesn't feel like Millencolin 2020.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of bizarre genres, Jeff, you want to talk about that covers?
Oh yeah. So I don't know who responded. I think Erik, you.
Yeah, I listened to it.
So Smash Mouse Records, this label out of Wales over in the UK, completely independent of the new Tony Hawk remaster game. Like they put in progress a while ago a cover album of songs from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. And this Welsh band, Fake Friends, does a cover of No Cigar. And I was listening to the album to do a review for our site, and almost every song on the album is some kind of almost straight up cover of what the original is. You got Consumed, Dead Kennedys, Goldfinger and things like that. And then this No Cigar cover comes on, and it was so different than what I expected. And if you got a chance to listen to it, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the cover song.
I loved it.
I haven't started to listen to it.
You haven't?
No, but I know.
It's so different. I like when people are doing cover songs and they change it completely.
Yeah,
it's great. I really, really liked it, actually.
Tell me about
what they did to the chorus, though. The verses the chorus is just a breakdown, electronic breakdown,
yeah.
Which is kind of weird. I think you would have a little bit more hit potential if they would have kept like the melody there.
Mm-hmm.
What style was this? I mean,
I don't know much about electronic music, but it's like starts out like this very ambient kind of like low key, but then when like the chorus rips in, it's like very trance techno slow.
Yeah.
And it's like got these like really pounding drum machine like kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like been like low bass like droning in the background and things like that. And it was like, I'm not really a fan of that music, but I could really see how they put themselves out there to try to do that. And they made the song their own, but in a way, if you know the original, you can still hear the roots.
Yeah. I was stoked. I thought it was great.
Yeah. So Fake Friends.
I need to listen to it.
One thumb, not sure because he hasn't heard it.
No, and I agree. I think one of the saddest things is when a punk band covers a punk band and it sounds like the original song with a different singer's voice.
Yeah.
I think it's just kind of a waste.
Kind of boring.
Yeah.
You got to find a way to make your band sound overcome that, I think.
I guess it's different in a way now. I mean, when we covered songs back in '93, we did like Operation Ivy and Descendants. I mean, we did those songs exactly like the originals, but we did them because in Sweden people have never heard those songs. Mm-hmm. So it was. But I guess nowadays you can't really do that.
And back then, this was such a long time ago. It was like a tribute to what
cool bands
forming Millencolin.
Yeah, I think that covers. I think the intention of covers changes, especially over a career of a band. You know, and while we're talking about B-sides and covers, is there a concrete reason that Absolute Zero didn't make it on Home From Home? I'm assuming the session was.
I think it was a battle between me and Nicola about. I wanted the song on the album, but he didn't want to have the song on that, and maybe because it was too much rock for him. I don't know, but it didn't end up on the album, which I think it's kind of sad because I think it's a good song.
Well, it's what makes Melancholy Connection for me. It's fucking top notch Millencolin. So it saw the light of day. So I'm not going to join, your argument because I got to hear it and it's there, and it's one of my favorites. So thank you for that.
We always end up with 2 or 3 songs that never made the album, and we got 2 songs from SOS which we never released, right?
Yeah, it's 2 songs.
That short song.
I mean, most of the times it's pretty clear what songs are not going to end up on the album because usually you start with probably like 30 song ideas, then you narrow it down, and we might record 14 and put 12 on the album. So it's going to be like, because back in the days it was important to have B-sides. Nowadays you don't really need B-sides, so it's always good to have 2 extra songs. Just sometimes you're so involved in the song, so it's hard for you to choose what songs are going to end up on the album. So it's better that you get some outside input for that. So
Well, it's probably like the late '90s Napster kid in me that I've always been on a quest for the perfect B-side where you can't listen to it and be like, okay, I understand why NoFX didn't put Drugs Are Good on that record. That song kind of sucks. But Absolutely Zero, I think, sticks out. I think there's a couple Millencolin B-sides that I frequently revisit. That I wouldn't ever be able to name off the top of my head, but they're available. You put them on an album, and I think that's all that really matters at the end of the day is that they're available to people to make that decision for themselves.
And now it's so weird when it comes up like on Spotify. It doesn't really matter if it's on an album or not.
I mean, part of that's been lost, and I remember in '99. I went and visited a friend who was going to school in Utrecht in the Netherlands, and I picked up the Melancholy collection, which which had only been released by Burning Heart at that point. It wasn't released in the States until 2001. So I came back with this like Millencolin album that no one else in like my immediately group had. And they're like, I was like a hero.
Wow.
You know, because you couldn't find these songs. They like, I had the one disc, you know, in my,
exactly.
in probably all of Wisconsin at the time, Northern Illinois. So it's like, but nowadays you're right. Like, you know, a lot of these songs just people of a certain age, and I know that you two are my age and Mike's a little bit younger, but like don't remember those times when like sometimes music was just hard to find.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, don't forget about it too.
Yeah.
How it was, and
but it's
just the thing.
back
to
then,
go to
I mean,
the record store back in the days, going to the States, you came home with this amount of records when you flew back home.
Yep.
You couldn't find in Sweden, or maybe you could somewhere, but it's still like every record store might have an album you've never seen before.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun.
Yeah, but I actually went to Germany with my parents once a year, and they had much bigger selection on punk rock music than we had in Sweden. So it was really hard back then too, because you didn't get any news on when to expect new albums. Because I remember I got like No Control. I borrowed it from a friend or something and taped it. But then I went to the record store and suddenly they had Against the Grain. I didn't know that it was supposed to be released. It was like, what is this?
No, exactly. Were you notified about upcoming releases? You couldn't go online.
Yeah.
But they had like a board on the record store where they wrote down
newspaper or something like that, a magazine or something like
that. Trade magazines, things like that.
Yeah.
No, I came from an area of privilege then because I was like, I bought For Monkeys because I think I bought it because the album art looked cool and because I think you guys were on a Punkorama.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, now I can go to Napster and download every song they've ever recorded, even the things they did when they were like 13, and then I can decide what I'm going to go buy at the store.
Yeah, the Napster.
A very interesting time. And Jeff, I didn't even get to tell you yesterday. I was going to submit the Vandals. They low key published a BSides record on Spotify yesterday.
Oh,
it's called Curse of the Unripe Pumpkin, and there's songs on there that I've had in MP3 format for a long time, but it goes to the same ideals that you can just put this shit on the internet now and people will listen to it, and it doesn't really matter what it is, and that's why we need those 2 SOS B-sides by the end of this phone call so that we can listen to.
We kind of forgot about those. I don't know. I think Epitaph forgot about them as well. I don't know what we're going to do with them.
They're hidden in some vault.
Yeah.
Masters.
Yeah, they're on the computer right there.
Yeah.
Now, you guys have a mighty discography.
Wasn't there, I mean, yeah, it was 3 songs that were from True Brew, exactly. But they were released too, weren't they? On some B-sides.
What?
We did that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think we did one B-side for a 7-inch, right?
No, there was 2 new songs. No, I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Well,
we got too many songs.
Yeah.
We got a lot of songs.
Yeah, you do.
We made a list.
Actually, I
sent you the list, right? You wanted
I just did, and it was 114 songs, I think, or 120 or something.
More.
No. I actually went through them.
Okay. Can you?
I did that list for the guy.
Yeah, exactly. The guy we talked about. Yeah. But because I made a list. This was when we had our 20-year anniversary. We put up a 2-day festival in our hometown, and my dog.
That's good.
Dog.
And we performed 25 songs on the Friday night and then 25 songs on the Saturday night. So then I made a huge list of all the songs we recorded, but I thought it was over 100 back then, and this was before True Brew.
It's 149.
149.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was like 130 or something back then. This was.
I'm not really sure, actually. I got the list here, but yeah.
But it was kind of fun to, a lot of the songs were like, okay, we're never gonna play those songs, but it was fun to rehearse some of the stuff we haven't played those songs since the recording of those, like For Monkey stuff and.
Yeah, but it's funny because. When you record a new album, when you're recording it that these songs we're never going to play them live.
No, this is the last. This is the last time I'm going to take it.
Yeah, this is the last.
You're committing it to memory. MXPX is currently. They've been posting on their YouTube page. They're so bored that the three of them are getting together and playing songs from their catalog in their rehearsal space and recording it, doing a video of it. And you can see by the look on their faces, Mike's like, God, these lyrics are so bad. or they're like, they're voluntarily just saying, like they did a song from, I don't even know the name of the, Let It Go or Let Go. And yeah, Mike says, hey, this is a song I wrote because I wanted to rip off a Weezer song. And then they play in 6/8 and they're laughing at each other the whole time. And then they put it on YouTube to, display that. But yeah.
They are really good. Mike is really, really good in he's really active doing stuff almost every day. And Goldfinger is too. They're really, really good. We haven't done much during this COVID situation. We're just sitting back home and miss being on tour. I even the other day, in life, I even missed airports.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, and that's what
is kind of bad, right?
Jeff and I have observed that there's really two ways that an artist is going to react to this drought: is to either do whatever the fuck you can from home to continue to promote yourself, or to just like hang out with your family and chill out, wait for it to blow over.
Yeah.
So that does bring me to my last question, which was, I know you guys have personal projects. I know you guys have engineering projects and stuff like that. What can we kind of expect from both of you as individuals? And then could you kind of cover what you think the next step for Millencolin is going to be?
Well, we have a lot of touring booked that got actually moved to 2021. So I guess we're going to do that. And we have some, that's almost a year of touring. Then after that, we have a plan to do a cool thing, but it's a secret. And after that, we'll see what we're going to do. But it's, I guess we have at least 2 years planned when this blows over.
Yeah, it's just like we got this Excel document. Just like you could change the 2020 into 2021, and it's just like pretty much the same dates. So this year is just like everybody's got projects on the side. Millencolin is the most important thing for us. But now when we're back home, I'm partner in a boat company. We're the dealer for the American tracker boats over here. So I'm partner in that. I've been that for 8 years, but I've just been like working part-time. But now I'm like working full-time because there's not much happening with Millencolin.
What else are you gonna do?
Yeah, and I got my graphic design company as well. And Mathias, you boil your sauce.
Yeah.
Sauce.
Yeah, there you go. He's got it right there.
Got the Mad's hot sauce.
Mad's hot sauce.
I'd love to try that sometime.
Licorice raspberry.
The new flavor. And I got a photo studio. I just took his product shots for that.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Tasty little nuggets you got there.
Yeah. So we got stuff to do. I'm also drag racing. So, but I haven't been much.
Show your car in the background.
Yeah, let's see what's going on back there.
You got the ugly car in front.
Ugly car, drag race car.
There you go.
The white car over there. Maybe you can't see the white car. It's
it's got the hood up.
Yeah, exactly.
So normally I get upstairs after I do these Zooms and my wife says, tell me about Joey Cape. Tell me about Lagwagon. What's Lagwagon about? And I say, he's this punk guy. He's been playing music for as long as I can remember. With Millencolin, it's like, well, there's this graphic designer and then this guy that he makes his own hot sauce and he does drag races. And well, he was the original drummer of the band as well. And then the other guy sells boats, but they also play in this legendary punk band.
Yeah. And our singer, he's super serious with his brewery, Duck Pond Brewing.
Yeah.
And Larsson, he's got his crust punk label. So
Hell yeah.
we're busy.
Good
stuff.
Which is good. I mean, hopefully everything is, when this blows over, we can just continue with the touring.
Yeah.
That would be great. And then we forget about this year.
Next year.
Absolutely.
Next year.
Cheers.
I like that one.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you guys so much. I think that's all we had. I wanted to thank you for taking the time out of your Saturdays to meet with Jeff and I. Big fans, and thank you guys so much.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
Thank you.